Hello guys, this is Paul McWhorter with TopTechBoy.com, and we are here today with lesson number 36 in our incredible new tutorial series where you are learning artificial intelligence on the Jetson Nano. I'm going to need you to pour yourself a nice big mug of iced coffee, and I'm going to need you to get ready to move forwards with some cool new stuff. Hey, as always, I want to stop and thank you guys that are helping me out over at Patreon. Your support is really motivating me to keep these lessons coming. You guys that are not helping out yet, look in the description down below. There is a link to my Patreon account. Think about hopping on over there and hooking a brother up. But enough of this shameless self-promotion. Let's talk about what we are going to learn today. Okay, where we left off in lesson number 35, we had gotten to the point that we were doing some real artificial intelligence, and we could do face detection. You could load a frame from your camera, and then you could search that frame, you could find faces, and you could put boxes around the faces. Okay, that is some pretty cool stuff. But what you guys have been wanting to do, and what I've been wanting to do for a long time, is not just detect that there's a face and box it, but answer the obvious question, who's in the box? Whose face is that? And that goes from doing facial detection to facial recognition, recognizing the face or identifying the face. And that is the direction that we are now going to go. Now, I figured out how to do it, and I have it working on the Jetson Nano, but I will say in order to do it, I was forced to move from Jetpack 4.2, which is the operating system that we initially installed on our Jetson Nano. I had to go ahead and switch over to Jetpack 4.3. Now, we've been resisting this for a long time because we've just been going, doing cooler and cooler stuff. But the time has finally come that we have to go ahead and move over to the new operating system. I'm going to show you how to do that in today's video. Now, we did that in lesson number 1 with Jetpack 4.2, and I kind of went real slow, step by step. This lesson, I'm going to go a lot faster because you ought to kind of know how to do it because you've already done it once. If you get lost in this video because I am going too fast, you can go all the way back to video number 1 and I'll show you every little step in painstaking detail. Okay, but let's see now. Let's go ahead and let's come over here to our Windows view. I believe this might be what we want to go to. Okay, and what we need to do is we need to go on over to the NVIDIA site and we need to download that Jetpack 4.3. So a good thing to search on would be getting started with the Jetson Nano. And if you search on that, you'll see this first result is getting started with Jetson Nano Developer Kit NVIDIA. Okay, that should take you to this page, getting started with Jetson Nano Developer Kit. All right, and the first is an introduction, and we'll just come down and click next, and then prepare for setup. You guys already have your power supply. If you're on lesson number 36, you've already got the the hardware put together on the Jetson, and we go to next step. Okay, now up here, what you need to do is download the Jetson Nano Developer Kit SD card image. Now this link links to the 4.3 if you're doing this sometime close to where I am. But what you want to do is you want to make sure that you are downloading Jetpack 4.3. And if you do this as this video comes out, it should be Jetpack 4.3. Okay, then we need to, after you've downloaded, when you click on that, it'll take somewhere between 15 minutes and 4 hours, depending on how fast your internet connection is. I have a pretty quick internet connection. I think mine took about 13 minutes to download it. But then what you want to do is you want to come and look at the instructions for Windows. Remember that you will need to format your micro SD card. I'm using a 128 gigabyte card. I like to use a card on the bigger side. You've got to format it with the SD card formatter. You cannot format it with Windows. It will not work if you format it under Windows. So you need to download the SD card formatter, and you can download it at this link here. But you should already have it because you used it in lesson number 1, and then you go ahead and do the quick format on your card, and then after that, now we need to etch that operating system, that Jetpack 4.3 that you downloaded up here from this link, we need to do that using Etcher. Now you should already have Etcher on your machine because you should have downloaded it in lesson number 1. And so you need to just fire it up and run it. Select image. It should be that new Jetpack that you just downloaded. Select the drive. It should be the micro SD card that you just formatted, and then you should say flash. Okay. At that point, you should have a micro SD card that is formatted for the Jetson Nano. Okay, now you can pause this video and catch up with all of that stuff, and then after you've gotten all of that done, we will hop on over here to our Jetson Nano. And now what I want you to do is I want you to get a USB drive because we do not want to lose all of those programs that we wrote earlier. And so what you can watch me do here is, that's kind of a really poor focus, isn't it? Bothers me how this Logitech camera doesn't want to focus very well, but we're just going to kind of live with it. You can take this and you can plug in your little USB drive, okay? With a little luck now that should pop up. Yep, you see it pops up. And remember, I put all of my programs in this desktop folder called PiPro. So everything that I want is in the PiPro folder. Okay, what is that nonsense? Okay, I'd done this before, so it's already seeing PiPro on there, and so I will make sure that it's on there, but I'd done this once before, and so then it recognized the folder was already there. But you can see that now PiPro has been copied to my thumb drive, my USB thumb drive. And so if there's anything else, like if there were any other documents or any type of things that you did that are not in this folder, you need to copy them to the thumb drive. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to eject the thumb drive. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the thumb drive out. I think I can just leave the thumb drive in because I'm going to need it after I change the operating system. Okay. What I will do now is open terminal, and I am going to do a sudo shutdown now. Sudo shutdown now. And let's see, this should shut it down. Going to say goodbye to the old Jetpack 4.2. Okay, that shut down pretty quick. Now I'll try to let you watch me here. What I'm going to go ahead and do now is I'm going to take that card out. Okay, so I took that card out. I'm going to put a piece of tape on this card, a piece of tape on it, tape it to a piece of paper, and write on here that this is my legacy Jetpack 4.2. This was my project disk. It has everything on it, so it's kind of a backup for all of those programs. Or if I ever need to go back to something on here, I've got it. So I'm going to label that, and I'm going to keep it. Now I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to just be safe and unplug the Jetson Nano, and then I'm going to put my new SD card in, the 4.3 that we just flashed. Okay, and then I will plug it in just like that. And now we are going to have to hold our breath because we are really going to hope that this thing boots. So hold your breath. Oh, I hope this boots. Ah, look at that. We have, and I guess you need to look at that, we have the happy little NVIDIA logo. Doesn't it make you happy when you get the little logo and you start seeing all the things booting? For some strange reason, I really like watching these Linux systems boot, and Linux, however I say it, somebody gets mad, but I like to see these things boot and go back, and it goes back to the old days when I had Unix, and it's a lot like watching that boot, and so I just always enjoyed watching those things boot. And the other thing is it boots pretty quickly. Ubuntu boots pretty quickly, and that's nice. I say it boots quickly. Okay, there it is. I was getting a little worried. There it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through a few steps to get this thing configured. And you guys probably know how to do this, but if we do it together, we end up with systems that are configured the same, and that way it's easier for you to follow along in the future lessons. Okay, so let's see if I can get this. I'm going to say I accept the terms, no telling what I'm agreeing to, but I'm going to accept them and say continue. I'm going to select English, which is good for me, and continue. And then I am going to wait for it a second. English US, that looks good. We'll click there. And then you need to go ahead and get you a Wi-Fi network. I'm going to find one here that is open and click on that, because I don't know, I can't remember all those passwords. And it is out trying to connect to that. You guys might be operating on a Ethernet cable as well. It is correctly putting me in the central time zone, so I will continue. All right, and then I will put in my name. I am PJM. Your computer's name PJM. My username is PJM. You're not PJM. There's only one PJM. You need to use your own username. Don't use mine, okay? Now let's make a good password for it. I like to go fast, so I'm going to log in automatically. You guys need to not do that if you have situations where like other people are around, or you don't want anyone just walking up and getting on your computer. But for me, to make these videos go faster, I don't want to type in passwords, so I'm going to say log in automatically. This is just asking for the size of the drive. Just, I just hit continue there. No big deal. And it's going to take a few minutes to think and figure out what it's doing. I've done this 4 or 5 times because you can imagine getting ready for making a video. I've got to kind of check things out and practice. And what I will say is I think 4.3 installs a lot smoother than 4.2. A number of times when I did a Jetpack 4.2 installation, the thing would hang in the middle, and it would just absolutely hang to where you would have to unplug it and plug it back in, and then it would boot up, and it just seemed like that there was not always as clean of an install as I'm getting with the 4.3. I haven't had the 4.3 ever hang. Now watch it. Now once I've said that, it will probably come up and hang on me, but it's looking pretty smooth so far. Applying some changes. Looks like it's going to be pretty happy here. Guys, I've been playing around with this facial recognition, and it is a lot of fun, and I cannot wait to get you guys up to where you are writing programs from scratch, training your system for faces, and then have it actually recognize the faces. It is a lot of fun. But we've got to do some bookkeeping, and we've got to do some housekeeping here, and we have got to get configured where we're ready to do that. Because like I say, I tried to make it work on Jetpack 4.2, and I just could not get it to work, and I was just getting to where I just really almost messed up my operating system with all the different things that I'd tried to install. So I decided for all of us, it is time to get this going. And look, it looks like we are booting up on Jetpack 4.3. This is very exciting, and I absolutely love that little icon. It's just a happy little icon. It's like, ooh, the supercomputer is coming to life. It's the small things in life that I get joy from. Okay, look, we are booted. We are booted. So I'm going to go ahead and kill the shortcuts because I don't want to do those shortcuts. And then I thought that used to that it would ask me for a few configuration things, but it didn't this time. It's just it might ask you for a couple of things, and I think we've already got that. So, all right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead now and open up my I'm going to open up this volume, Okay, and then I'm going to go get my PiPro folder and I'm going to bring it back to the desktop. So I'm going to start, just so we don't forget, I'm going to start by getting all of those programs. Here was the thing I was looking for a while ago, and it finally came up as my PiPro is copying. So what's new in Ubuntu? I don't really care. I don't do the live patch, so I just say next. I don't send stuff just because that's the kind of cantankerous old guy I am. Let's see. Don't send. It's kind of hanging up here after I said how it never hung up. Okay, you are ready to go, so I'm going to say done. And it looked like that copied over, so I'm going to kill that thumb drive. And I just like to take those thumb drives out. I don't like them sitting there. So let's take the thumb drive out. Okay, it says it's ready, and I'm going to try to pull it out very carefully so I don't mess anything up. All right. I believe we were successful there. So we are now on Jetpack 4.3. Now what we got to do is we got to get Jetpack 4.3 configured. And like I say, it's helpful if we are running on identical operating systems. And so you guys might want to kind of follow along with me here so we end up with things that behave the same. So let's see. First thing is I like having a one-click machine. This old finger only has so many clicks left in it, and why use 2 clicks when I could do the same job with 1? So I'm going to preserve my trigger finger, and I am going to make this a one-click machine. Come over to the file cabinet and click on it. And then what we are going to do is we are going to come up here in the upper left. You see how you've got to kind of come way up here to get files to appear? We'll fix that in a minute. But you click on that second files, and then you say preferences. And then we're going to come to behavior, and I'm going to say make this a single click machine. Okay, and I think that's all that I need to do here is I should now be a single click machine with a little luck. Okay, and then kill this. Yeah, that looks like I'm a single click machine now, so that makes me happy. Now we're going to come over here to this gear and wrench, and we're going to click on that one time because we're a one-click machine. And I'm going to click on appearance. Okay. And then with appearance, I'm going to go to behavior. And then remember how the menus were showing up here? I like the menus on the window. So I'm going to say show the menus on the window. That will put them here where I want them. And then I want them always displayed because that way I don't have to hunt for them or say where are they. I want them always showing them, and I want them on this window. So I like that. Let's go back to all settings, and now let's go to brightness and lock. I do not want a screensaver to come on, so I'll say turn the screen off, never. And then lock, I'm going to turn that off, and then even if it was there, I wouldn't want a password, right? I'm doing this so as I'm making videos, we don't get slowed down with me having to continue to try to wake the computer up or put a password in. So you use your own discretion of how you want to configure yours. So that is how I'm doing it. I'm going back to all settings. I'm also going to go over here to power. And on power, I do not want to suspend because I don't want the thing going to sleep on me as I'm in the middle of making a video lesson for you guys. Okay, so that is some pretty cool stuff. All right, now I'm going to right mouse click and open a terminal. And then I'm going to come to preferences, and I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to say edit. I'm going to say edit preferences. And then here under the font, I'm going to say a custom font, and I'm going to make this a lot bigger. I'm going to make this about 24, and it's easier for me to see, and it is easier for you to see. So I'm going to make that a 24 font, and then I'm going to say select, and that looks really good. So now I've got a big font. Now the one other thing is that when I'm making videos, Every command I give that's a sudo command, I don't want to have to type my password in, okay? I'm worried about making the video smoothly and easily, so I'm going to turn the password off. You should probably leave your password on, but for me, I get tired of having to type my password every time I want to do a sudo command. So let's come in here and let me show you how to do that. We've done this before, so you should remember how to do it. Remember, we type sudo and then vi sudo, sudo vi sudo. And then it wants my password the first time, so I will put it in. And now we are in this configuration file. And what I need you to do is go ahead and hit your arrow key, your down arrow key, until you come all the way to the bottom. And I need to be mindful to make sure that you can see this. Okay, and then I need to go all the way over, and then I need to click insert on the keyboard, and then you see how this insert lit up, and then I need to move over to the right, and now I'm going to click enter. Okay, I don't want that pound there, so I'm going to backspace over the pound. Now you put in your username. I'm PJM. Don't put in PJM. You're not PJM. There's only one PJM. That's me. You put in your username and then space. Now all uppercase. ALL equal open parenthesis ALL all uppercase close parenthesis. You got to do this exactly the way I'm doing it now. No PASSWD. That's like no password. No PASSWD all uppercase. And then what you need to do is colon and then all. Do you think they wanted all enough there? All right, now that's done. Now we got to go out of insert mode, which you do by hitting your escape key. Okay, and now I'm going to go to the right, and then I'm going to hit enter. I didn't get here. Let's try this again. Enter. Okay, I'm going to put insert and then scoot over one. Okay, now I'm right past that L. I'm going to hit escape again. Okay, I guess it just stays on that last letter, so let's not worry about it. Escape takes me out of insert mode. Now shift with the colon, and do you see how I have this colon down here? Now you do WQ for write and quit. Okay, it looks like it is happy. Let's say I think that I will be able to do that. I am a little obsessive compulsive, so I'm going to look at it and make sure that it looks right there. Yep, okay, that looks good. And so I will go colon, and I will just do a Q this time for quit. All right. That looks good. So now we are not going to have to put in our password every time. The screen's not going to go blank on us. It's going to go nice and smooth. So hey, I think we have this thing configured, and I just want to make sure that I don't have anything else. No, I don't think so. Okay, so where are we going towards? We are going towards being able to do facial recognition. And it is not that hard, and it is a lot of fun, and I'm going to teach you how to do it. But I didn't want this video to be an hour and a half long, so we're going to stop this video now. And then in the next video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and we're going to install the Visual Code Studio again, the Code OSS like we did in one of the earlier lessons. We need to go ahead and get a good Python interpreter, a good Python editor set up on this Jetpack 4.3 on this new operating system. So we're going to go back and install Code OSS again, and then we're going to go in and put in the libraries and put in the Python interpreter and get everything configured under that Code OSS. We're also going to go in and install some of the libraries like we need. Remember how we need to install pip3. We're going to do that. We're going to install NumPy and some of the other things. So we'll get the code. We'll get the Python editor and some of the libraries installed that we're going to need. You really need to follow along with these lessons because you need to be using the exact same NumPy that I am. You need to be using the pip3 the same way I am. You need to get it configured the same way. And that way, when I type in a command and get a result, when you type in that command, you'll get the same result. If you start branching off, but just say, oh, I'll just do apt-get install NumPy, you're going to end up with something different than I have. And then you're going to be fighting with this thing for the rest of these lessons. So tune in on the next lesson and get things configured exactly the way that I have them. That would then be what, lesson number 37. Then in lesson number 38, what we're going to do is we're going to start installing the libraries and getting things configured that will actually allow us to do facial recognition. So that will be 37, 38. In lesson number 39, you will start doing your own facial recognition from scratch, and then you can imagine we're going to kind of build on that, where we're doing more and more and more sophisticated models. Okay, you guys, leave me some feedback down below. Let me know if you guys are enjoying this or if you're just sick of this series of lessons. It is just like, man, now is when things are really going to get fun, but we got to pause and take care of some of this bookkeeping stuff. And so you guys remember to leave me a thumbs up. Think about subscribing to the channel. When you subscribe to the channel, make sure that you ring the bell so that you'll get notifications. And again, really, 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 really appreciate you guys that are helping me out over at Patreon. Okay, I will let you guys go. This is Paul McWhorter from TopTechBoy.com. I will talk to you guys later.